Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Casey Show. I know it's been a while since I last posted, but I am going to share my story. Today is June 1st, 2023. This is episode 12. This is my story. So, about a year ago, I thought he was the love of my life. Turns out he lied to me. So, this is my story. I normally don't tell my personal information on here, but since I have people that wonder what's going on in my life, let's hear it. So, last year on Mother's Day, I decided to go on the Facebook dating app and to simply find love. And I got matched with this guy named Andrew. We constantly messaged each other. He said everything that I wanted to hear. Like, our souls were meant to be together. Our bodies were meant to be together. I've never heard this much from a man ever. So we set a date when we want to meet each other. We video chatted to make sure he was for real. And he's had a criminal record. I didn't care. He has 5 children. He just found out last year that he has a 5th child from a different relationship. So when we meet each other, it was magical. It was honestly magical. And so basically, I went on the train to meet him in Chicago. I slept over at his house. I didn't expect it to happen, but it did. We were in Chicago. We went to the Navy Pier. That is when I fell in love with him. I met his sister, and then I met his mom. I fell in love with his family. So the story goes is I fell in love, deeply in love. Like every day when I was off, I go downtown to see him. So as months come, I meet his grandma. I got her a champagne bottle. I bought her that. I was so nervous to meet his family, but his family started to fall in love with me. June, which it is, we went out to see the new Jurassic World movie that came out last year. And it was great. It was our date. And then we saw another movie. I forgot what it was called, but it was Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum. And his sister was invited too. So his sister and I get along. But there was this time when he went out with his boys that he hasn't seen in a while. He tells me about one of his exes who was obsessed with him. The relationship ended badly. Like, she stole from him. She blamed him for so many things. She's apparently dying in the hospital. So story is that his ex has been contacting me and I block her. She goes on every social media, and there was this time when he went out with the boys and he broke up with me. It's hard to talk about. Now, age different wise, he's 40. He was 39 when I went out with him. Yes, age different wise, we're 13 years apart. I got worried when I first met him, but when I've met him, he got me perfume, he got me lipstick, and he got me a nice necklace that accidentally broke. I didn't mean to break it, so I was his first priority. So, so this is what happened. Like, we would always go out together. We'd go out to Chili's. I sleep over at his mom's house. I love his mom. But he has a past. And normally when you have a past with prison, it comes back to haunt you. So back in June, which it is last year, he wants me back, so we're back together. He then tells me we're going to get married later on last year. Didn't happen. He told me that Christina, his ex, gave him money to go see his children because the state has his children. It's a long story. I'm not going to get into it. But then he breaks up with me. I end up in the hospital because of anxiety. And what do? I go back to my ex-boyfriend. I didn't cheat on him because he broke up with me. And then months later, it doesn't work out. Then it's July 3rd last year. I had a good time on my birthday. I got a message from him saying happy birthday. He wants to get back together with me. He kept playing with my head. I wanted him back too, but I was with somebody. So in September, and it was October actually, I get a phone call. September. It's gotta be September, I think. September or October. I think it was October. He tells me that he ended up in the hospital. And he cut himself 27 times. He calls me from the hospital saying, baby, I miss you. Baby, I want to see you. When I didn't see him that day, he went everywhere that we went. He ended up in the hospital, and then he had to go to then I finally see him. It was a magical moment, and I fell back in love with him. So we're back together. I think this was in October. He went to rehab, and I visited him, and then, but this was before rehab. I blacked out all the events that we had. Then after a week being with him, he finds somebody else. Vanessa. She was the same age as me. That honestly broke my heart because, and then back in January, this is where we're on track. January, I was seeing this guy. We went on a date once. Nothing else happened. He was in rehab. He wanted to get out. I got him out. I took an Uber. I literally spent all my money on the hotel, American Stay-In, to $300. $200. So we get back together, and he's trying to find a job. This is when I was still working at Portillo's, and we only lasted a week there. Through February, this is the part where it hurts. He had to go back to rehab. I was crying. He's like, wait for me. I waited for him. And then when I get a phone call saying I'm in love with Vanessa. I still want to be with him. I'm like, did you know? I'm like, yeah, I knew. I was in shock. After all the things I've done for this man, he goes back to that hoe. It would have been a year. I wanted to marry this man. I know I say about all the exes, but this one I really wanted to spend the rest of my life with. It was so hard that he broke my heart. I was looking into apartments. I found a great apartment, $1,400 per month. It was in Addison. And once I got the phone, he called me because I'm like, hey babe, so I found a place. As soon as he's like, hey, I gotta tell you something. I'm like, what? I still want to be with Vanessa. Did you know? I'm like, yeah. And I was in shock. I could not breathe. I could not hold my breath. After all the things I've done for this man, he doesn't even pay me back. Yeah. I paid for his clothes. I paid for the food. I paid for the freaking, everything for him. And what do I get in return? Thanks, babe, I'll pay you back. Guess what happens? He never pays me back. He came back for me, and he told me to wait for him, and yet I did, and then look what happened. Karma hits me. Because whenever I'm with somebody, it hits me. It hits me. Like, I honestly love that man. What we had was special. He was my Spider-Man. I was a Spider-Woman. And now that it's gone, that's my story. But then I get in contact with his ex because I'm trying to get in contact with him. And she's like, so you're the girl he's told her lies about me. But when we were together, when we were living together, he talked to his ex. Yeah. I was pissed off that he was talking to us because my ex-boyfriend called me up after all this shit. Sorry for my mouth, but all this shit that I've been through with this man, he calls his freaking ex. That ain't okay. He was trying to find a job. He got an interview. The day of the interview, he goes back to rehab. I don't believe that story. If I were to ever hear from Andrew, I'd say, what happened to us? We were doing so good. We were in a perfect place. I paid for your clothes. I paid for the place we were staying at, and I even found us a place. And what do? You go ahead and hurt my heart. Broke my heart into a million pieces. And I got him a card, and it said his last name is Satoshi. So I thought my name would be Satoshi, so it's not. And when he found out about me and my boyfriend, he says, I will laugh at your funeral. He said that to me, and I still took him back. 5 shots I had with him. 5 shots. And right now, I'm 27, gonna be 28. And when it was his birthday, I wanted to reach out to him, but I know I shouldn't. Everyone warned me about him, but I didn't listen. This was the real relationship that I ever had with somebody. It only lasted, what? April, May, June. Only two and a half months. 1 month. 1 month. It only lasted 1 month. I did everything for this man. And what do I get in return? I get a broken heart. This is the one thing that really hurt me. He says if I ever got pregnant by him, he wouldn't support the baby. He would go to court and won't support the baby. He said that. What kind of a man says that to somebody? He called out my family. He honestly has hurt me more than anybody else. Glenn, he cheated on me. Billy, he didn't want to be with me. Josh, he was something. But Andrew, I thought would last forever. I told him from the beginning that I'm not going anywhere. And what happens? He goes somewhere. I even got a freaking A necklace because of how we were together. Hang on. Ginger, no. No. So, you see my frustration? You see how I'm mad? There were red signs. He would never go anywhere. He said I was using him for, and I wasn't using him for that at all. I wasn't. He's like, all you bitches be using me for sex. I'm like, I didn't use you for that. I never did. What we had was special, and yet you ruin it. He ruined it. We could have had something special. I did all the things for him. I wanted to have a baby with him. When we reunited, I wanted to have a baby with him. And then I tell him, before he called me to see him, I talked to my ex. He gets mad about it, but at the end of the day, he was talking to his ex. His ex. So why does it matter that I talk to my ex when you're talking to your ex? I didn't see him. I saw Andrew. And this was the watch I was going to give to him for Valentine's Day. It still hurts from this day because I have pictures of me and him. It hurts. I've been trying to get over it. But I sometimes hear his voice in my head. It's hard. What he did to me, I will never forget. Because he cheated on me. Yep, he cheated on me. After that time when we reunited, in December, he cheated on me. I was saying, I have a plan. I'll try to come over on Christmas because that's the holiday I wanted to spend with him. And he's like, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I'm like, what? He met somebody. And I was at work and I was crying my eyeballs out. When I worked at Portillo's, I wasn't having a good time. I was emotionally drained from this relationship. And then he tells me he breaks up with her. I'm like, okay. I haven't heard from him in a couple weeks because I shared my Uber stuff with him. Then he gets pissed off. Then I find out that he's with his ex. I've done everything I could with that relationship. Done everything. Cared for him. Be there for him. His family wasn't even there for him. I was. Do I wish I was with him? Sometimes I do. Do I wish it would have worked out? Yeah. Do I wish that we would have been more together? Yes, of course. It's just, my heart can only heal from the hurt. It's taken time. Because I haven't seen him since January. That's my story. So if anybody has been through what I have, I've been there. Have you ever been lied to? I have. Have you ever been manipulated to? I have. Have you been the one in the relationship that's only been doing the relationship? I have. And it is hard work. When someone says to you that they came back for you, they waited for you, they thought about you every single day, they lie. That's manipulation. 101. They lie. And yes, Andrew was a criminal. And he has a criminal record. His name is Andrew Politoshi. Yes, I've looked up his name and I've seen some records of him. It's hard to look at. But he did his time. It's just, I was there for him. I didn't care about the criminal part. I didn't really care. But I wanted it to be him at the end of the day. And look what happened. Sorry, but I have not ever done a video about this. I've done a video blog about it, but not posting it. I want the whole world to know that you're not alone. If you ever been with somebody who's been to prison, I've been there. Well, I haven't been to prison, but if you've ever been lied to, I've been there a million times. He would always get suspicious of people I've been talking to. I'm not cheating on him. But the one thing I didn't like is he had me blocked on Facebook. He didn't want a relationship out because of his ex, which is a bunch of BS. So That's my story, you guys. I know it's nothing happy-go-lucky, but I want to tell my story. And today is June 1st. So June 1st is truth time. It's truth time. I even had my vows picked out for him. It's hard, but all you got to do is move on. Now moving on is hard. It is hard ass work. It's hard. It's really hard. Because, like, my whole life, I've waited for a man like Andrew, and yet he goes away. I remember the first time I told him I loved him, it was in a message. He would always message me when I was at work. He's like, I love you, baby. I love everything you've done for us. But it didn't last. And what happened? He decided to go to somebody else who never really knew what he was like. I knew everything about him. I thought he was a mindful set. I thought he was spiritual in a great way. Yes, there were moments when I thought I don't know. But that's my story. That's my honest story about Andrew Otoshi. So, let it go out there. That's my story, and it's a true story. I don't know what's going to happen, because sometimes I wonder if he'll call me, but knowing him, he'll probably won't. I miss him, but everything that he's done to me, I just can't accept it. Thank you guys for watching the KC Show. Enjoy this video. Bye!